Do you want early access? Do you want uncut reactions? If so, then check out our Patreon. Link in the description down below. Last episode, we got introduced to a full-on Red Riot. That boy was serious.
Made me think of the Metapod episode from old school Pokemon.
Harden!
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 Harden! And then eventually Pikachu is just sitting there in a sun chair, just like sipping on a drink. It's like, you know, this battle could go on forever, right? Anyway, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 6, season 4.
You headed off to your work study too?
Yeah, I finally got called in again. Feels like it's been forever. I wonder why they said not to wear our costumes, though.
Oh! Good morning, guys. You going in today?
Yeah.
Oh, so are we.
Wait, we're going the same way? I thought you were working in Kansai.
Usually, yeah, but I guess we're meeting someplace different today.
We're going in the same
Ah,
direction.
Beatles.
Even turning at the same corner. Gran Torino? And Mr. Aizawa? The Dragoon hero Ryukyu. The BMI hero Fat Gum. Rockluck, Kasagiri Man, and Mr. Brave?
Oh, so Nick Fury walks out. I'm here to tell you all about the Avengers Initiative.
And they'll just be like, nope, and just bolt out the door. Like, we ain't doing this shit, Nick.
Thanks to the information provided by all of you, our investigation has progressed substantially. Regarding the Yakuza group Shie Hasaikai, and what we believe they might be planning.
What prompted this?
An accident involving a gang of thieves called the Reservoir Dogs.
In my capacity as a Night Eye agency sidekick, I began following leads to see what I could uncover. I found that in the past year, the members of Shie Hasaikai have increased contact with those outside of their organization. Shortly after our investigation began, they made contact with a member of the League of Villains, confirmed that an altercation had occurred between the two groups.
That'd be about when they decided to reach out to Tsukauchi and me.
Does anybody want to tell me why a bunch of high school kids were invited to this conference?
These two have important information to pass along. We do?
Hasaikai's movements are hard to trace, but we suspect one of their main sources of income is illegal drug sales.
Tamaki was shot, and the bullet contains some kind of drug I've never heard of before. One that destroys quirks.
Tamaki, you're okay, right?
Yeah, this stuff wore off while I slept.
So this stuff doesn't zap a quirk for good?
No. But Eraserhead has some further insight.
It doesn't seem to function exactly like my eraser does. I can shield those genes and temporarily block their expression, but I don't actually damage them.
But after Tamaki here was shot, we brought him to the hospital and they found that his quirk genes had sustained damage. Whatever it was didn't harm the rest of his body. Nothing but his quirk was impaired in any way. Kirishima bravely defended Tamaki from a bullet, which then bounced off his own body and should now provide us with a viable sample.
I have no idea what's going on.
Wow, awesome job, Kirishima. That's so cool.
When we analyzed the substance from the bullet, we discovered something that made me sick to my stomach. It contained human blood and cells.
That effect came from a person, from someone's power. A quirk that can destroy quirks.
The man who shot Tamaki used an illegal drug to boost his quirk during his fight with Kirishima. The distribution channels for stuff like that are complex, although things have shrunk since the old days. There's no concrete evidence that Hasaikai handled the drug, but we know for a fact that they interacted with one of the middlemen responsible for moving it.
Don't you have anything that implicates them more clearly?
Their young head, Chisaki Quirk Overhaul. With this power, he can disassemble things and then reassemble them. And a bullet that can break down quirks.
Please don't go.
Chisaki has a daughter named Eri.
We're wondering if this Chisaki bastard is turning his daughter's body into bullets and selling them on the black market.
Yeah.
No. It's possible that they're still in the testing phase, and he's giving them out as samples to rally more people to his cause. If the completed drug allows him to annihilate someone's quirk entirely, imagine the devastation he could cause.
Would have saved us a lot of trouble if these two amateurs had just gotten the girl away from him.
Oof.
I take full responsibility. The blame should not fall on them. Even without knowing the whole story, they acted to save the child, each in their own way. Nobody in this room is more frustrated than they are.
We'll get Eri away from him next time, and we'll protect her.
It's creepy.
She may have managed to get away from Overhaul for a few minutes, but she got herself seen by a couple of heroes. And if we go busting into their headquarters and she's not there, they're gonna know that we're onto them. We gotta be sure of where he's hiding her.
Since we don't currently know how far they've taken their plans, the success of our initial strike is crucial. To that end, we've made a thorough list of groups with connections to Hasaikai, as well as properties owned by the organization.
The heroes in this room all operate in one of those locales. We know the areas better than most.
Didn't expect someone who worked with All Might for so long to be such a careful planner.
I don't know the specifics of your quirk, Night Eye. Feel free to correct. But from what I've heard of it, your quirk foresight allows you to see into the future. So why not use it on us? That's logical, right?
I'm sorry. I get one person, and then I'm spent for the rest of the day. Additionally, the future is played in my mind like a flashback. For 1 hour, I have the power to watch a person's life as a movie. Everything I see is from a tight perspective on the person in question. This severely limits my capacity to interpret context. What if I saw imminent death in your near future? Worse, what if it were a cruel, merciless demise?
This is because of what happened with All Might. Please stop! If you continue like this, I swear, you'll face off against a villain and die an unspeakably gruesome death!
My quirk should be employed only after we've confirmed the highest likelihood of success. Then it can help ensure our victory.
If we know what's coming, we can figure out how to survive.
You don't understand. It's possible what I see is unavoidable.
Bro, that's the only excuse you have for real? Oh, hell no. Just use it on me now. I'll show you I can beat death.
I can't.
We should get started. There's a child in trouble.
Hindsight's 2020, kid. Don't kick.
We should be safe.
Don't kick yourself too much.
Man, so that's what happened that day? So frustrating.
Before you got involved in this, I was going to recommend that your work studies be suspended.
What?
You were listening when he said the League of Villains is involved, right? That changes things. I'm positive that if I try to stop you now, you'll do something reckless and attempt to take things into your own hands.
Oh yeah, that's how he does it.
So I'll watch you. If you're going to see this through, you gotta do it the right way.
Huh.
Hear me? Problem child. Just because you didn't hold on to her this time doesn't mean you didn't give Eri hope. So keep looking forward.
Hey, Midoriya. Next time we'll definitely save her.
Right! No matter what!
Now I understand. Of course. You sent Midoriya to me in the hopes that he would help mend my relationship with All Might.
When you get old, it's your job to help stubborn youngsters. So the kid, what are your honest thoughts about him?
I think he and All Might are very similar, especially when it comes to the madness living deep within. The one I could never understand. I see that in them both.
There she is.
Yo, Eri. Relax, it's just me. I'm just checking to make sure you're doing okay in here. What? You haven't touched any of your toys? After I bought them special for you. See, I'm not scary. There anything you want me to bring you? No worries. If I'm in the way, I'll leave you alone.
Make sure she doesn't want to run away. Use the carrot, not the stick. Be someone she trusts and feels comfortable with.
I'm a dead man. Like I have any idea what kids like.
So completely different. My entire life, no one's ever reached out to me like that before. So kind. So warm.
You can buy a kid all the toys in the world, but unless you like reach out to them with compassion in some way or, you know, a connection, they're never gonna really trust you. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, there was a kid I knew who had all the money. You know, his parents had all the money in the world, but they were never around, and he never was able to like really make friends until he got out of his comfort zone and actually took time to try and get to know people. That girl, I mean, she, like, I'm wondering what her quirk is. I'm just completely baffled. Like they could synthesize from her blood the ability to just completely eradicate someone's quirks. It's almost like the leech scenario from X-Men. Leech there, in X-Men 3, anytime someone got within a certain vicinity of him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
for instance, Hank got near him and tried to reach out to shake his hand, and his hand became human, human looking again. And then they weaponized his DNA, and anyone who got shot with it was pretty much unable to use their powers.
Yeah.
And in X3, they made it seem like it was a permanent thing, and they called it, quote unquote, the cure. And keep in mind, that's an X-Men where, having the powers meant that you could potentially face discrimination the rest of your life. Whereas here, heroes have completely been adopted into society. And while there are still doubts, for the most part, heroes are still adored and loved. Now, I'm just curious as to what the extent of her power is. I mean, I'm wondering if her powers are going to basically... I'm wondering if it's how she, how she interacts with them. Maybe it's she completely saps their powers away, or if there's something else to her powers. I don't know. Maybe it's a positive and a negative effect. She can have the negative effect on someone, or maybe positive effect. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure that's probably going to be one of the mysteries that they solve over the season. I mean, that kind of seems like...
Yeah, it's just me right now. I'm just trying to figure out what the extent of her powers are. But yeah. Also, all the heroes coming together there, that was pretty cool. It was like a meeting of the minds. You had the ones who was completely in doubt about the kids being involved. It's like, why'd you bring a bunch of high school kids?
I mean, it's a pretty valid question, though.
It is.
I mean,
it is. Although, I'd say there's more logical reason for Kirishima and Amajiki to be there, and also Togota, or also Mirio and Deku as well, because Deku and Mirio interacted with the girl, and Kirishima, actually...
They kind of stumbled upon the quirk eraser bullet.
Yes, and they got a viable one when it bounced off Kirishima. So there's more of a logical reason for them to be there. Uraraka and Froppy, not so much. I mean, yeah, they're
fan favorites.
Yeah, okay, fair. That's that's the one thing about popularity polls that always just make me laugh when they put out popularity polls about who the most popular character is in the show. Whenever and they say, "Oh, it's just for fans. It's just for the fans." It's like, okay, we're actually doing this to find out who to put in the main plot lines of future episodes and stuff like that, or in future manga, future manga strips and everything. It's like, do we want Bakugo or do we want Uraraka? It's like, okay, fans, you decide. Uraraka. Bakugo's mom. Wait, what?
I started to say, I'm pretty sure the fan
base... That one was me, sorry.
The fan base, it's Froppy and Bakugo's mom.
Oh, I love that. Every time. Oh, there was a hilarious. I just forget which one.
They give me shit on Discord about that now.
Oh, come on.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you shouldn't give a shit.
I mean, it's like they're gonna have to run out and do some work because you're not the only one, from what I've seen.
Let's see. What was it? It was
Bakugo's mom has got it going on.
Yeah, there was actually a very funny video. It was by Giguk. He was just like, all right, and now we're here to discuss My Hero Academia Season 4. And he goes into his normal spiel. Like, the show this year really found its ground whenever it really took... All right, I know what you all want. Bakugo's mom! And then the whole crowd just, starts, that one, when they's, slinging beer everywhere in the bar and everything? That's what it was.
I feel like that dude from, was it Kyoshi Island, where he starts foaming at the mouth and passes out in Avatar when he does his little trick.
Yeah.
That dude.
Yeah, effectively, it's this one here.
Oh yeah, where they Photoshop over the screen to show dumb meme stuff.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like Bakugo's mom. And it's like, okay, Real Hero, My Hero Academia,
Man.
Season 5. Bakugo's mom.
Like,
yeah.
Europeans love soccer, man. Sorry, football.
You don't have that on the screen, by the way.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Oh, balls. Yeah.
I was just thinking there's probably no point
Yeah,
in
right
playing
here,
it
right
with
here.
it not being...
Okay.
With it being muted and not being on the screen both.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Bakugo's mom is the new hero for My Hero Academia Season 5. Gonna be honest, I think that's what
I saw him do that
be.
same thing with like the DVD logo hitting the corner, and then it's like everybody's like, "Ah!"
That's a good one. I like that one. That's a good one. But also my favorite. Let's see. This right here, this crowd reaction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, John Coffey doing this. This is like insanity. I never in a million years would have imagined this could have worked. Perfect timing. Watch this. In the distance. Phew! Just what?
It's friggin' impressive.
That's it. That's more than impressive. That's crazy. Jesus. Lead singer John Coffey just being like, all right, drink. I'd be afraid to drink that beer, honestly.
I would too. I'd be afraid it was mostly somebody's spit.
Or someone dropped like
or something
ecstasy
worse.
or some shit in there.
Oh, I'd be excited if I got drugs out of it.
Oh my god!
I'd be like, woo!
You want to know the funniest thing? Actually, it's not really funny. The craziest thing that happened at a one of the craziest things that happened at a rock show. Actually, Alice Cooper got in trouble for it. Alice Cooper was at a show, and it was in I think Buenos Aires, Argentina, or somewhere, and someone threw a live chicken up on stage, and he was just like taking the chicken around the stage, just going like a chicken, a chicken, and then all of a sudden,
At least he didn't bite its head off like I was with the bat.
No, he was actually just like having fun with it. Next thing you know, he throws the chicken back out into the crowd, thinking, "Oh, the chicken will be fine." All of a sudden, people tear the chicken to pieces and throw
what the fuck?
and throw the piece of the chicken back up on stage at Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper, seeing this, is just like, he's like, "Oh fuck, this is gonna get me in trouble because we're recording all this." And then, he starts catching the chicken bones and just like setting them back down on stage. And then, like, all of a sudden, he comes back to the United States, and everyone's just like protesting. It was just like, Alice Cooper is a monster. Alice Cooper kills the chicken. And then he's just like,
kill it though.
Exactly. He's just like,
Dumbass fans did.
actually, if you watch, I didn't kill the chicken. I threw it back out into the crowd. But honestly, I don't know why people are so upset about me killing chickens, because Colonel Sanders kills 50 million chickens every year when he makes fried chicken for everybody, but yet no one bats an eye. I don't understand that. And, it was right after that, everyone was just like, oh, okay, so yeah, he's cool. He's cool again. Because it was the crowd that tore it apart.
I saw him live, and he was extremely cool, even though
Oh,
he's
yeah.
getting pretty old now.
Well,
I was glad I got to see him before he got too old to do that anymore.
Well, yeah.
His show is awesome. It's basically a magic show combined with a metal show. It's really awesome.
Well, yeah, I've seen like a bunch of his old stuff, like where he brought down like a movie screen, and he was like out in front of the movie screen, and the movie was like playing like a horror movie, and then he jumps into the screen, and he is in the movie now, and then he does something on the screen, and then they bring him out to be executed, and then they bring the screen back up, and he's literally in front of the guillotine, and he's just like, oh well. And then the guillotine comes down, they chop his head off, they hold his head up, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
I didn't know how that trick works where the guillotine decapitates someone.
Yeah.
Like, so when I saw him live, it looked so cool because like he actually did the full trick where he's like still there, like looking around at you like, yeah, before like it comes down, and then you see his head roll down. It looks like, I was like, that looks so legit. Like, holy shit.
Well,
and I found out about watching a show that gives away a lot of the old magic tricks. Like exactly how they do that, and I was like, okay, that's probably exactly what Alice Cooper did.
Well, yeah, it's probably like the trap door underneath, like the bottom here.
Yeah, it's basically like there's a false bottom to the bed, and you actually fall forward, like
Yeah,
Like,
you fall
you fall
forward.
down when with the blade coming down,
And
so
it looks like your
your
head-
head rolls into the box, but you actually just completely fall down into the box. pretty
Yeah,
much.
and then they pick up a prop head that looks like
which is
it looks
already
like
in
your
the box.
Yeah,
And
that's
then you crawl back out and come out from, behind pretty much, and you're just like, hey.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
It's neat though because after they decapitated him, they did a whole song without him, So and then he comes back. So
well,
pretty neat.
He was actually talking about how for him it was growing up watching vaudeville shows and shock shows and stuff like that really got him into doing stuff like that. He said he invited Groucho Marx, cigar and mustache and all that, and Mae West, two classic vaudevillians, up to one of his shows, and they were off to the side of the stage, and there were people out in the crowd disgusted by everything that was going on, and Groucho Marx and Mae West were off to the side. These old timers just that's good vaudeville, just yeah, and they understood it. They understand that the art of expression like that, and the art of shock like that, truly gets people. It draws people in. I mean, it's like the Saw movies,
Honestly, it ages really well too, because people
Yeah.
when they first saw it were like, "Oh, what the hell?" And then people like me, nowadays seeing it, were like, "Oh, this is awesome!"
Yeah!
It's freaking love this.
Friggin' Alice Cooper, a man ahead of his time. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's gonna do it. This was My Hero Academia, Season 4, Episode 6. This was a good one. Sign of things to come. Looks like we're going to be having a big battle with the Shihei. I forget the name.
Hasaikai.
Hasaikai. Shihei Hasaikai. Yeah, my brain. I'm sorry.
Japanese words are hard.
Yeah, well, it's katakana is hard to decipher, and I have problems.
It's
with
just
it.
the fact they use a lot of different sounds that we don't put in our words all the time. So
Well, yeah, I mean, our anglicized friggin' language is just ridiculous.
it's not related to English like German and stuff like that is. So you can hear German names they sound very close to English names, so it's real easy to come up with.
Well, you look at
that in your head compared to a completely unrelated language.
Well, yeah, you look at the mother tongues of the world. I mean, you look at old traditional Chinese, and then you look at friggin' Latin. Latin, which is what our predominant languages are based off of here in the West. I mean, it's easy to see. Yeah, I mean, because Chinese is such a large language. Effectively, it's affected Russian language, Mongolian, all of Southern Asia. I mean, hell, even Japan. Japan takes a lot from traditional Chinese and made their own language. That's very similar, but yet at the same time, its own thing. That's like comparing Polish to Spanish. Even though they're based off of the same Latin nomenclature at its very base, they're still very different. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. And I guess until next time, everybody, signing off, I'm Nate.
Micah.
I'm Nick.
We'll see you then, everybody. Well, peace out.
Rip and tear until it is done.